Welcome, my Mercurial mercenaries and any other stragglers, hangers-on, people who have wandered past this shop window and thought, wow, someone's talking about J Hus and the album Common Sense. Say hello, Perfect 10.
Hello.
This album we're going to be talking about, Perfect 10, is called Common Sense by J Hus. I know I said that one sentence ago, but I'm a two-sentence kind of guy. Welcome to the 2 Through Review. Mamadou Diallo, better known by his stage name J Hus, is an English recording artist of Gambian descent. I am reading this directly from
Wikipedia.
Best known for his 2017 single Did You See? No, I didn't. Did you see it?
Didn't see it, didn't hear it, didn't know anything of it.
We didn't know about it, I'm afraid, J Hus. And he also features on Stormzy's album Gang Signs and Prayer, which, unbeknownst to you, Perfect 10, we have coming up in this Mercury review.
I look forward to it.
I have already listened to it. A complete accident a few years ago, and it is very, very good.
Is that a disclosure there that the 2 Through review of that album has already been listened to by the Mercurial number 6?
Yes, unfortunately. The same thing happened last year in that I'd heard Moonshaped Pool by Radiohead, so it's not, this kind of thing is not unbeknownst. It's not unbeknownst.
Reference previous episode, I don't think there's anybody breathing on the planet that hasn't heard Ed Sheeran, so...
That's true. Had you listened to that album before?
Not the album.
What a stupid thing to say then.
Not the album as an album, but a number of tracks.
On the 12th of May 2017, J Hus, not Jesus. You say you heard him talk today and he pronounces his own name as J Hus.
Within one of his tracks, I'm sure he talked of himself in the third person as J Hus.
I thought you said you had an interview or something with him. You're just talking about
it's
within the song.
In one of his songs.
Right, okay. Let's hopefully that Perfect 10's right on that and he did actually talk about himself in the third person and call himself J Hus. People who talk about themselves in the third person, as the Mercurial number 6 sometimes does, are extremely vain. What would you say they are? People who talk about themselves in the third person.
Egocentric.
Right.
Egotistical.
Does that mean I spin around on the spot while I look at myself in a circular mirror?
That's not the right word, but it's been a long day already.
J Hus released his debut album, Common Sense, which went straight to number 3 on the iTunes chart, something to do with Apple and downloading and shit, peaking at number 6 on the UK albums chart. So, although these albums, my girl, we've never heard of them before, and I've never heard of J Hus, I've never heard of Common Sense, and I've never heard of his storming single, Did You See? This album went to number 6 in the charts. These aren't underdogs we're talking about here. This is popular music. Like I was saying just before I pressed record, it's like I've become, no disrespect to my dad, but I've become my dad. Imagine my dad in 1993, 94. It's like my dad saying to me, who are Oasis? Who are Blur?
And you standing there and huffing and sighing and looking at him as with some sense of embarrassment that he's even your own father asking you such a ridiculous question because, doesn't everybody know who Oasis are?
I didn't really mind that much because I didn't really expect or want my dad to know who Oasis were. It didn't really bother me. My mum knew who Oasis were. Right, so, what were we saying? Right, so we listened to this album, Common Sense by J Hus. The album cover is, from memory, it's a baseball cap where the face is just money.
It's like not even a baseball cap. It's a cap with like one of those rope strings coming under the chin, which isn't really a chin because the face is just made up of notes of money. Are
you calling J Hus a chinless wonder? No, don't do that. He'll beat the shit out of us. He's a hard-looking 21-year-old.
I couldn't comment because there is no face. It is just made up of money.
That's true. Apparently, this is Afro-rap music.
Afro-rap. Hip hop, R&B.
No, specifically, it's specifically Afro rap. It's very distinct to grime and all the other things.
Right. Okay.
Which I found it's supposed to be like a really original genre, and this guy is absolutely groundbreaking at the moment within this genre. to me, overall, it all just sounded like rap, kind of rap music. I didn't really get the explosive new genre that is Afro rap. But that can be like sometimes when in the music that I'm familiar with, when people say they can't distinguish the difference between like
Indian Britpop.
Well, no, I was thinking about something like me making a distinction between thrash metal and heavy metal, and someone who doesn't really care for either, just saying, well,
It's
what's
just
the difference?
metal.
You play them Iron Maiden, you play them Slayer, they don't like either. So you'd be trying to explain to them why Iron Maiden's different to Slayer, and maybe just listening to it going, it all sounds like noise to me.
Once again, sounding like parents.
But I'm not saying that this sounds like noise, this Afro rap thing. I'm just saying that all these different, there's so many different genres, right? Within this kind of thing where you got Stormzy and stuff, they're grime apparently, but this isn't grime, this is Afro rap. To me, it just... Anyway, let's move on to say the album Common Sense begins with the song Common Sense. It begins with the title track. And as soon as that track started, I thought it was brilliant. I really liked it. I thought it sounded massive. I really, really liked it. And I said to you, I hope the rest of the album's like this.
Yes. The first thing, as soon as it opened, it was really bassy. Well, no, the first thing opened, and I said it sounded like it was being played out of a ghetto blaster, which is obviously the point of the sound.
Oh, that was the point of it.
That was the point, but it just sounded really good because it sounded really distinctive. And then it immediately went into this amazing, massive, full bass sound. And I said it sounded a little bit, I said almost funk. I said almost disco funk.
70s. It was like a 70s disco
I said it
vibe.
sounded like Shaft.
Yeah.
Just in the opening bars. Like you say, massive, full sound, really, really big bass sound.
And I carried on liking the song for the entirety. I was dancing around the room saying, I hope the rest of the album's like this. Now, I will allow you to speak at certain points. It's all right. I know I'm just talking a load of bollocks, but it's because, look what I've done. I've written notes. I've got things to say, my mercenaries.
Like I said, it has been a long day today.
This isn't a load of bollocks I'm going to be talking. This is just brilliance here, right? Ready for the first stroke of brilliance?
Go.
The use of auto-tune. For those who aren't aware, auto-tune is a vocal effect. It is. Sorry?
I was going to say, heavily demonstrated in Cher's I Believe in Life After Love.
Yeah. I won't go through the history then. I was actually going to have a whole history.
Oh, go on.
Which involved what it was created for
Go
and what
on,
it was then eventually used for.
Go on then.
But the Perfect Tens is just, you've got a boat, or was it a ship? I'm never sure. A boat with a big sail, yeah? And you've got a lovely big gust of wind and your sail's full and you're going across the ocean, there's a blue sky, everything's good. The seagulls are nowhere to be seen. There's no albatrosses for a start. There's nothing. It's beautiful. And then a perfect 10 comes along, steals that gust, your sail goes limp, your boat just stops static, and the albatross swoops down. And you have
puts a hole in the hull of your boat.
Puts a hole in the hull, and you kill the albatross. And then you hang it around your own neck, and you're always forever reminded about the time that the Perfect 10 did a Cher, mentioned Cher's "Do you believe in life after love?" and took the wind out of your sails. So that's the end of I was going to have a big spiel on autotune. What I was going to end my spiel with before the Perfect 10 destroyed my whole journey across the Atlantic Ocean was that what certain people, and there's a lot of them on YouTube, who are anti-auto-tune. It's like a version of, it's like, I was going to say, it's like a relative who, an anti-auto-tune. No,
Like Uncle Nobber.
Like Uncle Nobby. Is it Knobhead? Uncle Knobhead.
It's Uncle Nobber, I thought, or Uncle Knobhead.
No, it's Uncle Knobhead, isn't it? Everyone's got
Yeah.
an Uncle Knobhead. Auto-tune is like a vocal correction thing, right? And people are obsessed with people not using auto-tune because they say that people can't sing anymore and that auto-tune is a disgrace and no one should ever use it. However, people forget that auto-tune is used as it's an artistic choice. People choose to use it whether they can sing or not. And this album is J Hus uses auto-tune all over this album. And I started off writing these notes and I was going to big it up and justify the use of the artistic choice of auto-tune over and above people who are complete naysayers. I think Alan Partridge says something to someone and he says to them, don't take offence, and before he can carry on, they say, I won't.
And he says, you don't know what I'm going to say.
You don't know what I'm going to say yet.
Don't say you're not going to take offence before you know what it is I'm going to say.
Yeah, and that's how I feel. We've wondered. So, I was going to big up the use of auto-tune on this album because I feel like it's my duty to do it because I'm so pissed off with people on the web making big issues about modern leaps in technology. It's like we're all supposed to be still recording with elastic bands but by track, how long was this album? Like 17 tracks long or something?
Yeah.
By track 17, do you know what? I'd had enough of the bloody auto-tune. I've got loads of things to say because I've got a list of things, but I'll open the floor to you now.
I just picked up on a couple of lyrics that I think I don't. You said he's 21.
Yes.
Right.
He's 21. Born in 1996.
Wow.
Yeah.
So references to things that some other people might think were nostalgia, nods to things. I'm sure he talks about eating What's-its.
Yeah, there was What's-its in 1996, wasn't there?
No, there were.
Oh, sorry, no, it would have been zero then. Hang on.
That's what I mean.
No, I know. I just sound. Oh, poor Bruce Forsyth. I still think about him every day. He would have been 10 in 2006, rather. Well, 26. That is 2006.
2006.
No. If I say 2012, what year's that?
Yeah.
So if I say 26, what year's that?
Yeah, but
you just want to know, innit? If I say that Queen Victoria died in 1901,
but she didn't. She died in 1901, and everybody knows that. Can I just point out?
Did she die?
Yes, she did. She died in 1901. That is one Queen Victoria fact that I absolutely goddamn know.
Hang on.
Because
but I just told you it.
No, she died at Osborne House on the Isle of Wight.
Hang on. I'm going to check that out. That fact. I think I. Hang on. Just wait a minute. Queen Victoria died on January 22nd, 1901.
Also known as 1901, and more commonly referred to by most living, breathing people as 1901.
No one calls it 1901. Do you know what? You're wasting your life. Okay, let's admit it, right? Everyone does say 1901, but you're wasting your life. People, you're wasting your life. Think of all the times you put the O in there needlessly, right? 1901, 1905, 2002, 2005, 2006. Just say 26, 1901.
That wasn't me. He's such a... Oh, look at him. I just poked myself in the eye. Because you said Queen Victoria, because you were talking, you said he would be 10 in 26.
That's right. And you said at some point was a lyric about
What's-its.
What's-its and Kiora.
What's-its and Kiora, or What's-its and...
Let me Google.
Five Alive. It was something...
Well, that's important. Don't change the drink. I said to you it couldn't be Kiora in 26. Hang on. J Hus. What's it? What? How do you spell what's it?
WOTSITS. What's it?
Right, J Hus what's it? See if it brings a lyric up. Oh, it has. Hang on.
What is it
It has brought a lyric up.
What is it that Cheetos? That's what Americans. I think Cheetos are basically the equivalent of what's it's for us. Where basically they leave your hand orange from sticking it into the bag.
Found it, my girl.
Yeah.
Actually, I've got other issues with this song, which I'm going to bring up on my list. But your lyric is, can't leave no sticks with broads. I don't know who she fucks with. Really, I'm a big kid. Capri Sun and what's it? My only accomplish was the WOT stick. All the shit we accomplished, biscuits in the mosh pit. Capri Sun, not Kiora.
All I was thinking was it was something that would have gone in my lunchbox on a school trip. But I know it's not Umbungo because once I was sick on Umbungo on a school trip to Finkley Down Farm, so my mum couldn't put it back in my lunchbox ever again. Umbungo and a pink wafer. A pink wafer biscuit, and I was sick all at Finkley Down Farm. It was over Paul Lucas's lunchbox as well. So I thought he would have been older than 21 because to me, to make reference to What's It and Capri Sun are more 90s things, but obviously not.
Nah, Capri Sun's still around now, isn't it?
But do What's It still make your hand orange? There's a bad joke about this, isn't there?
I don't know. Tell me about it. We like bad jokes on this channel. Actually,
I can't
they only get
remember
good
the
jokes
bad
on this
joke.
channel.
It's
What's the joke?
It's an offensive joke.
Well, I like offensive jokes on this channel.
I can't remember it, so it's going to come out wrong. So give me a minute. It will come to me.
Well, you think about the What's It joke while I talk about this album.
Yeah.
Track 3, I definitely thought that he was talking about cracking one off through the whole song. It was all about cracking one off. I'm going to crack one off. I'm cracking one off. And I thought, do you really need to say... Anyway, it turns out it's called... He wasn't saying cracking one off. He was saying clartin. Clartin.
And what does that mean?
Fuck knows. No one knows. This guy's just inventing words. I looked it up on the internet. The only real reference to clartin is this song name. Something said it's a Geordie term, meaning to mess around. But I don't see why J Hus is using a Geordie term. But he does like to appropriate the places where he goes. Because he's been to Dublin a few times. And when he was in Dublin, this is referring to track 7 now, he liked the fact that everyone kept saying, what's the crack? You can do Irish accents. Say, what's the crack?
Are we worried about offending people here?
No.
Because
No, absolutely not. There's no.
There's more to Ireland than this.
There's more to Ireland than this. No, go on, give me what's the crack in Irish.
What's the crack?
Yeah.
That's it.
That's not how they say it. They say it in Irish. In a Dublin accent. Do it. Just speaking a Dublin. You can do accents. Speaking a Dublin accent.
I can do Belfast accent because it was my geography teacher at school.
Well, it's not quite the same as Dublin, is it?
Tuck your shirt in. Tuck your shirt in, Andrew. Shut that door. Shut that door.
Why was the door open?
I don't know why the door was open. Well, it was next to her office, so she was always really conscious of the door being open.
Do you remember Larry Grayson? I used to watch that when I was a kid, Generation Game.
No.
He used to go, oh, shut that door, right? So, no, seriously, pretend you're host. Right, do you remember Bruce Forsyth hosting a Generation Game?
I do.
Right, so...
God rest him.
It doesn't matter about Larry Grayson. Pretend you're Bruce Forsyth then, hosting a Generation Game, saying shut that door, but you're from Northern Ireland.
I can only say it in the words of Miss Patton when she's telling somebody off for leaving the fire door open.
Okay, say what's the scores on the doors, Miss Ford, and shut that door. Or just answer your phone. Or just look at your text messages.
Well, I kind of wonder who bothers to talk to me at this time of night, and I want to make sure it's not important. Since you're sat opposite me, it's not you giving me...
We've got a thing planned here where you're going to host a Generation Game as a Northern Ireland person.
Scores on the door.
What the hell's
about
that?
it. No, see, I can't do it on demand.
Say shut that door.
Shut that door. Shut that door.
I can't remember now.
Andrew.
Larry Grayson was always telling people to shut that door, but I can't remember why was the door open? Why was the door always open in the Generation game? Anyone out there, and I'm talking mainly... Right, here's one for you. Probably the most... Right, there's a few... I don't want to mention too many of them because the ones I leave out will get offended, but I've got a few people who watch every video that I do, and one day I'm going to have to meet up with them and have a drink because they are such dedicated followers of fashion. I've got people like Anti-White Clown Punk. I nearly forgot his name then, only because I suddenly thought of Antipasta. Is it Antipasti?
Antipasti.
What's Antipasti? Is that like an enemy to pasties? Evil White Clown Punk. Why am I thinking of Antipasties?
I don't know.
Oh, God.
Because now I'm thinking of food.
I'm thinking of food as well. I've got people like Evil White Clown Punk and Jamie Adams, and I've got loads of people that routinely watch the channel. But I have one, right? Now, I'll tell you how you spell his name, and you tell me how you pronounce it. And because I always call him Mr. Floyd, because I'm always scared about how I pronounce his name, right? And it's P-A... Oh, God, what is it? Oh, God, I'm going to get it wrong now. P-A-D-R-A-I-G.
Is he Irish?
It's an Irish name. I'm not sure if he's Irish or not. I think he lives in London.
I'm wondering whether it's a derivation then of Patrick.
Yeah,
but Patrick.
I think so. How would you...
Like Podrick from Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Podrick.
that's how I've been pronouncing it. Podrick.
Padrick.
How would you pronounce it?
Padrick.
Say it again.
Padrick.
Yeah, I reckon you prefer the way you say it to the way I say it. Hang on. Let me just
Like Podrick, but like Patrick, but without the hard sound.
I googled it, and you can actually... There's a variety of different ways you can pronounce it.
Yeah.
You can choose how you pronounce it, but the thing is, without speaking to him, like, because we do it through the comment section, but without him being able to actually just say to me, like to my face out loud, he says it's the same as you say the golfer, Podrick Harrington.
That would help if I knew.
Yeah,
who
I
the
know.
golfer was.
I was the same when he said it to me. I was like, that'd be brilliant if I knew, if I'd ever heard anyone say his name. Hang on. Look, if I do this right on Google, hang on. Look, watch. Hang on. How do you... I've done this before. How do you say Podrick Harrington? Look, watch. Here we go.
I don't think they're clever enough to work it out because they still call a fart a farrat.
The following pronunciation is brought to you by pronouncenames.com.
Really? There's a website?
Yeah.
Padrick. Yeah.
Yeah, well... Padrick. But why is he saying it like he's an old Spanish man?
I was going to say, he sounds like...
Who's going to say... I'm not going to go... Ooh,
He sounds like Uncle Hector out of...
I'm not going to go,
Bad, doesn't he?
Padrick.
Yeah.
If I said to him, if I mentioned him on the channel and I went, Padrick, he's going to find that fucking offensive.
Don Corleone.
Yeah. He's going to say, do you know what, Mercurial number 6, or right with the Mercurial number 6? He's going to go, do you know what, you're a sarcastic prick and a dickhead. What the hell are we talking about?
How you pronounce Padrick.
But why?
Because you're trying to make me speak in an Irish accent.
No, I was going to say something about it.
Which I can't do on demand. I can only speak in the way that I know. I have to think of people and what they would say to me.
Well, tell me to shut that door again.
Shut that door.
Right.
Shut that door.
You do realise that we're supposed to be talking... Right, what I was talking about was the fact that J Hus is a absolute fan of Dublin. So this whole Northern Irish accent thing has just totally fallen flat.
No, that's it.
Do me a Dublin accent.
Without sounding like I'm stereotyping and being offensive to...
No, that's how they sound.
Oh, top of the morning to you.
That's it. So now say... What's the crack? That's what I'm trying to make you say. What's the crack? C-R-A-C.
What's the crack?
There, you can do it.
Apologies, no offence intended.
My point
All Irish speaking.
My point being, he goes to Dublin, he enjoys it, he listens to what they say to him, and he includes it as lyrics to his songs. He's absorbing, and also another little thing about that song is it's got a sort of silly, catchy, sped up pitch shift hook thing that goes on like they do, like that was popular about 10 years ago, but apparently it's cutting edge now. Anyway, Clartin, no idea.
No idea.
Track 4, the one that you said's got Kiora in it. No, Capri
What's
Sun.
this?
Capri Sun.
Yeah.
Yeah. The chorus of that goes do 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 do. And do you know what I thought when he was going to do 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 do? I thought no 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 yes. Vicar of Dibley.
Yeah.
So
Jim Trott.
this cutting edge urban street Afro rap music, I was thinking of Jim Trott from Vicar of Dibley
And
in a kind of
Cropley.
in a knitted like top with his like tweed jacket. That's not cutting edge, is it?
No.
No. Track 5, Closed Doors.
Which was the track? I think it was
Trumpets and piano. It's very good.
An earlier track where I said again in the lyrics, he said about, I'm sure he's talking about being at school and says, if you just ask Frank because he'll sort you out anything you want. So we both said,
Oh, Frank
was the anti-drugs
the anti-drugs campaign.
And it very, very much reads as a reference to somebody who might want to, I believe the word is, score.
Look, let's face it, this whole album, when you delve into it, is all about sex, drugs. That's it. It's all about sex and drugs.
Sex, drugs, and
money.
Afro rap.
And money. It's all about sex, drugs, and money, and the power of wealth, and the power of fame. Track 5 was probably the best, maybe the best song on the album, along with track 1, because it had lots of trumpet and piano and live instrumentation.
Yeah.
I really liked that. Track 8, which was called Plotting, has the lyrics. Don't think I'm shy because I'm quiet, I'm just plotting. I think we should move on. Track 10, right? What have you found?
I found the What's It's joke.
Oh, go on then.
I found the What's It's joke and
Go on then.
it corroborates what I said.
Go on then.
It's a bit of a long one. I'll go quick. Guy goes to the doctor and says, Doc, you've got to help me. My dick's gone orange. The doctor pauses and thinks and asks this guy to drop his pants so he can check. And the guy's dick is orange. And the doc says to the guy, this is very strange. Sometimes things like this are caused by a lot of stress in a person's life. Probing into the causes of the stress, he says, how's things going at work? And the guy says, oh, I was fired about 6 weeks ago. And the doctor says, well, that must be the cause of the stress. No, it's not. My boss was a real arsehole. I had to work 20 to 30 hours of overtime every week. I had no say in anything that was happening. I found a new job a couple of weeks ago where I can set my own hours. I'm getting paid double what I got on the old job, and the boss is really great. So the doctor figures this isn't the reason. He says, how's your home life? And the guy says, well, I got divorced about 8 months ago. And the doctor figures this has got to be the reason for the guy's stress. The guy says, no, for years all I listened to was a nag. God, I'm glad to be rid of that old bitch. So the doctor takes a few minutes and thinks a little longer. And he says, do you have any hobbies? Any social life? And the guy replies, no, not really. Most nights I sit at home, watch some porn flicks and munch on What's-Its.
Is that the punchline?
Yeah, but because I was reading it, it obviously didn't come out so well, so we can redo that. But
Was that a joke?
That's a joke. But
What was the joke part of it?
the joke is he sat there trying to find out from the doctor why his dick's gone orange.
Yeah. Well, it's because he's
But
been eating
it's the-
What's-Its and masturbating.
Because the point is,
What's the joke?
the joke is that he goes to the doctor not sure why his dick's orange, but the reason is because he's eating What's-Its and wanking off.
Oh, right.
He doesn't need to go to a doctor to work out that the What's-Its on his hand.
Did he go because of the ginger on his dick?
He went because his dick had gone orange.
But
then-
didn't he just look at it and think, oh, that's because the What's-Its on my hand?
Obviously not.
Oh.
But what it actually says in
It's
the
just more
joke,
of an example of stupidity than a joke.
what it actually says in there is, I sit at home watching porn flicks and eating Cheetos. So I just said, confirms my point that
So you switched.
Cheetos.
You switched it.
I did. I switched it there.
So what are Cheetos then?
Cheetos are, I think, the same kind of product. Like,
Do you remember Chitara?
they'll turn your hand orange when you put your hand into the bag. Your fingers will be orange by the time you've eaten a bag of them. Just like Wotsits. I do remember Chitara.
Yeah.
You've got a thing for Thundercats. You quite fancied a lot of the Thundercat women, didn't you?
No, I've got a thing for
You've got a thing for
Animal women.
I was just going to say that, animal women.
That's different. We've discussed this before. I can't remember when, but we've.
I think the order went Jessica Rabbit, Miss Piggy,
When was this,
Miss
though?
Piggy, Jessica Rabbit, and the Cadbury's Caramel Bunny. Those were like your top three.
No, Jessica Rabbit. We said Jessica Rabbit can't be there because she's
She's
not
not
an animal.
actually an animal. But Miss Piggy, the Cadbury's Caramel Bunny, you said she's hot.
Can I have the original Catwoman from the TV series from the 60s? I've got her name now. The one out of Columbo. Not Eartha Kitt. No, the one before Eartha Kitt. Julie. Oh, for Christ's sakes! Hang on. Julie Newmar.
Julie
Newmar.
No, because she's not actually an
Holy
animal.
hell! She's dressed as an animal. Jessica Rabbit wasn't dressed as an animal. Jessica Rabbit was just dressed as Kathleen Turner. And that's no disrespect to Kathleen Turner. I'm doing her from Friends. She was Chandler's
dad
in Friends, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked Kathleen. Do you remember Romancing the Stone? She was absolutely stunning in that.
Never seen it.
Yeah. What was it? What were we
Talking
doing?
about animal women.
Oh, J Hus. Sorry. No, we're not. We were talking about J Hus. Right. Okay. Right. Track 10. He mentions John Cena.
Yes.
Do you know he's a wrestler?
I do know he's a wrestler.
And I've
because
seen John Cena in person.
Well, I always think I'm wearing a John Cena jacket, but
no,
then I remember
you're wearing
it's CM
Punk.
Get confused.
You're wearing my CM Punk jacket.
Your CM Punk jacket with a pair of lungs and a heart.
And in this track 10 John Cena song, I thought he was saying, she just wants sodomy. She just wants sodomy. She just wants sodomy.
I think it's she just wants shot of me.
No. I looked up the lyrics and it actually goes, she keep calling me. She just wants all of me. But the way he says, she just wants all of me.
She just wants all of me.
All I was hearing was sodomy. It's his accent. But I put a spin on it. And maybe I put a spin on it because I wanted the spin.
You can want all you like for that kind of spin, my friend.
We'll see. Track 11. What? Track 11. Track 11. The opening drums, right? I've written here, they're probably steel drums through this song.
Which isn't the same as stolen drums.
No. They're probably steel drums. But I also put here, and at this point I was listening to the song on my phone, so this might account for this, but all the drums in the song sounded like when you kick a football against a wall when you're a kid in a back lane.
I sat here listening and I thought that, I thought something was coming down the chimney. There was a sound and it wasn't. It was just a percussion
sound of a ball
sound.
being hit against
It
the
was
wall when
just
you're
a
a kid.
percussion sound, but I was honestly thinking like something really big is being dropped down the chimney.
His big single from this album is apparently the final track, Friendly, right? Listen to these lyrics from Friendly. These are the ones I've chosen to write down.
Hang on, is it going to be ironic? Think about it.
No. Here we go, right? She said my lifestyle is no nice, but my woody so good it make her blow twice. I'm going to repeat that. Listen to what I'm saying, right? She said my lifestyle is no nice, but my woody is so good it make... I put an is there, which isn't there. I've got to get it dead on. Ready? She said my lifestyle is no nice, but my woody so good it make her blow twice. What do you think that means, my girl? I've been pondering it all day. Are we talking about Woody from Toy Story?
He is quite clearly saying to her, she doesn't like my lifestyle, but she likes noshing me off.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with Toy Story.
Nothing at all.
I'm disillusioned now. Did you like Common Sense by J Hus?
Lyrically, and again, reference previous episodes, there is a lot of talent in writing rap. When it's and we said that one of the previous reviews wasn't very authentic. This was.
Oh, this is authentic. This guy is heavily influenced. In fact, I read an interview with him today because I wanted to just get a bit of a feel for it. And he referenced the fact that he wanted this album to sound... He wanted to get the sound of Mike Skinner's The Streets debut album, Original Pirate Material. Yeah. So, and I love that album.
I think, like I said, some people couldn't write their own lyrics, but they'll have the voice of an angel when they sing. Some people, and you know, you've said historically members of the Stones, like, you know, people who actually couldn't sing, but yeah, were amazing performance artists, amazing writers. You know, had
who out of the Stones can't sing?
No, okay, maybe not the Stones.
Well, why are you doing a scissors motion to me? What am I doing now? What does that one mean?
What motion am I doing now?
My Mercurial mercenaries, I've got a middle finger being stuck up.
Bob Dylan.
What about him?
You say Bob Dylan can't sing.
I think he's one of the greatest singers of all time. I don't think
conventional, nice,
he can
pretty
sing,
boy singing voice.
He can't sing in the style that Simon Cowell wants to hear. That the general public.
Simon Cowell.
That the general public wants to hear.
One of the tracks that I listened to,
right?
I said to myself, he's singing about Simon Cowell.
What,
one of these tracks. No, he didn't say Simon Cowell.
What did he say?
He's talking about the label, or he's talking about he's talking about somebody making him make a sound, somebody telling him the way that he should be, somebody telling him the way that he should be singing.
Remember a specific word that he says, and I'll type it in.
I absolutely can't remember, but if you listened to it again, you would know that he's singing about. I swear he's singing about basically saying how the record label making you say things, making you sing in a way, making you produce music, and he's not going to do it, is what he's saying. It's was it Katy Perry who sang I'm Not Gonna Write You a Love Song?
No idea.
Not gonna write you a love song because you want me to. I think that was Katy Perry, but that was basically her. If you listened to it and didn't know, you'd think it's her saying to a boyfriend or a lover, I'm not going to write you a love song because you asked me to. But it's her sticking her fingers up at the record label before she moved record labels, saying, I'm not going to write you a love song because you asked me to. I'm going to sing what I want. I'm going to sing the music I want. I'm going to write the lyrics I want. I'm not going to write you a love song because you asked me to.
Well, her songwriting team will write the lyrics that she wants.
As we now know, one guy, one guitar, one looper pedal.
Perhaps I should read out the list of people who worked on J Hus's album. Should we do that? Just for hang on, what's it called? What's this album called?
Common Sense.
Common Sense. Right, let's look at the people who were involved in the making of Common Sense. Wikipedia doesn't have a list. So, there you go. We can't read the list out Ed Sheeran style because there is no list. It's going to be a load of producers because these guys are all about the producers. Did we decide whether you like this album or not?
I said lyrically, yes, because I think there is something...
You're allowed to say you don't like it.
I don't like all aspects of the style of music.
Last year...
I've said before, I really appreciate...
you appreciate the effort?
I appreciate the
Explosive Notes will love it if you say that you appreciate the effort, because he doesn't appreciate the effort. He does not like that. Effort is not there to be appreciated.
I wasn't going to say effort.
Oh.
I appreciate the attention to detail in the lyrics, in making something like what you just read out. That is poetry. And that doesn't just come to everybody easily. Some people are, like I said, some people have the voice of an angel when they sing, but they could not write you a couplet. They could not write you a verse if they're
Could they make you a cuppa?
They couldn't do it. And yet some people can, whether it's them, whether it's their writing team, whatever, it still takes a certain skill and a certain ability to be able to speak poetry, to be able to sing rap, to be able to put the two together. And that's what I like about that music.
Yeah, so you didn't like the album then?
I don't like the music, but I like...
Can I tell you what I thought? And this is off the top of my head, because I haven't given this a lot of thought. Let me think. I thought it was a very chaotic album. It was all over the place. I liked it for that reason. We should have started this podcast with what I'm about to say now. We should have started with it. But this album is not aimed at you and I.
No.
In any way, shape or form. Do you know what? Last year, when I reviewed Skepta and Kano and... there was another guy as well, I've forgotten now. I got flack on the Skepta review. Basically, my girl, you weren't there at the time, but I reviewed Skepta and I called it. I said, Skepta, this one's probably going to win the Mercury Prize. No one else said it. Everyone else was obsessed with Bowie winning it, but I called it right. And some of the comments on the video were along the lines of, I don't know if they're still there or not, I might have deleted them, but they were along the lines of, what's this middle-aged white bloke doing listening to this stupid fucking whatever. And it's like, for some reason, I'm not allowed to listen to Skepta or like it. I'm not allowed to listen to Stormzy, which I like. So I'm probably not allowed to listen to J Hus. So if some J Hus fans are listening to this now, they're probably going to criticise me and you on this video. They're going to give us shit because we shouldn't be listening to this.
One of the other thoughts
Let it bollocks.
Music shouldn't divide. Music should be inclusive. On one hand, music is a great leveler. You know, anybody from any background can appreciate music,
especially
and
if you're in the band
of
of levelers.
However, on the other hand, music is still
There's only one way of life. Sorry, carry on.
On the other hand, music is still a massive expression
Hated that band.
Of subculture. And you can shoehorn music into a genre.
Or into a shoe.
But are you actually just dividing it into subcultures? And does it follow that a person who doesn't conventionally fall into one or other given subcultural group is barred in some way from accessing or enjoying that music? Because that shouldn't be the case. But yet, I think there is still some truth in that.
Oh, bugger. Do you know what?
What?
All the way through this podcast, I've been saying Afro rap.
Yeah.
I think I even writ it down. Writ it. You know what I just said? I writ it. I think I even wrote it on this piece of paper, but I think it's Afro-Beat. His genres, he's got 4 of them on Wikipedia. Mm. He's Afro-Beat, hip-hop, dancehall and R&B. Yeah. Which is what you said in the first place. I try not to do research on this channel, but I did actually read just some interviews with him, and I've read a few opinions of this album out there, and people think it's a groundbreaking album. It's receiving like top marks, and it's definitely a contender. And just in the same way as I heard Skepta last year, and I thought this is going to win. I'm not really getting that vibe from this one, but from what I've read about it, it could well win. Do you know what I mean? Mm. I don't like this album as much as Skepta's.
I can't compare because I didn't participate in any part of last year. Just generally in life, Mercury prize aside, I just didn't really participate in anything last year.
No. You had a kind of year off, didn't you, really?
Just a year off life.
Yeah, year off life. Year off life. Year off life. Year off life. Does that work as a...
Album.
I've got 2 album titles for Mercurial number 6 debut album. I've got 10 to the power of...
10 to the power of. That's what we call it.
10 to the power of. That's quite good, actually.
I like that.
The Mercurial number... The problem is I've got a 6 and a 10.
It's got to be... what's the word?
What about 6 to the power of?
6 to the power of.
The Mercurial number 6, I can imagine now written across the top right corner of the album, the vinyl sleeve, the Mercurial number 6, and some sort of design and quite powerfully written, 6 to the power of.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, I've forgotten what else I was going to say now. It was something about life.
Year off life.
Year off life. Year off life. Year off life. What's your album called, Mercurial number 6? It's called, The Mercurial. What's your album called, The Mercurial number 6? Year off life. Pardon? Year off life. Pardon? Year off life. Year off a knife. 6 to the power of.
Yeah, I like that.
Let me just Google that. Is there any album already called 6 to the power of? Hang on. What do we do about Google? I'm going to write it out as 6
Parody.
as well.
That's the word. Parody to Ed Sheeran's entire...
6 to the power of. The Power of 6 is the second book in the young adult science fiction series, The Lorien Legacies, written by Pittacus Law. The Power of 6. Well, I'm not saying the Power of 6. I'm saying 6 to the power of. As far as I can see, my girl, there is no album out there called 6 to the power of. So there you go. Maybe we'll have to remember this, because the problem is when it comes to naming my album, I'll forget this podcast. So can you remember that my album's going to be called 6 to the power of?
Yeah.
Cool. Right, let's put our arms out. Thumbs at 9 o'clock. Where are you putting your thumb for J Hus Common Sense?
I'm giving it a 9 o'clock rating because for me personally, it's not a style of music that's going to make me want to give it any more, and it's not going to make me want to listen to it anymore. But I really appreciate.
You are never going to listen to this album again in your life.
No, I'm not.
Why are you giving it a 9 o'clock?
Because I can appreciate what is
the effort.
What it is. As I said, like lyrically, poetically, that it's there's some good tracks. It's not mainstream. It's not mass produced.
Well, I've got a problem here because I gave Ed Sheeran an 8 o'clock. So if I give this a 9 o'clock, I'm saying it's 1 o'clock better than Ed Sheeran's. And Ed Sheeran had some songs on it that I really liked.
Then give it an 8 o'clock.
But then I'm dissing this new form of music that's taken the UK by storm, and everyone and I'll look like I'm smelled fart.
Then give it a 9 o'clock.
Fuck it, I'm giving it a 7 o'clock.
Wow.
What's he going to do about it?
So overall, as an aggregate score from you and I, it's an 8 o'clock rating.
It's 8 o'clock. You liked it 2 o'clock better than I did.
But I still didn't like it more.
Why did you give it 9 o'clock? We could have both given it at 6 o'clock.
I can't take points off it. I can't deduct or take away from it the fact that it's not my preferred style of music. That's not a reason. That's not a reason to diss the album.
I'm going to change my mark, right? Because I've just looked down and reread the line. She said my lifestyle is no nice, but my woodie's so good it make her blow twice. For that reason, I'm going to go with you 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9 o'clock. So that's it, my mercenaries. We give J Hus Common Sense 9 o'clock. Thank you for listening, all 3 of you. Well,
including us too?
No, we're a given. I think Evil White Clown Punk, Mr. Floyd, Podrick, and I think Jamie Adams. I think they all listen to this, and Matt Preston might listen to this, and I might listen to it again because I like to listen to the sound of my own voice because I'm so fucking good. I think on that bombshell. No! What do I say?
Over and out.
I don't do over and out anymore. Do you know what I do now?
What? Over and...
Over and